I, 34M, have been married to my wife, 32F, for a little over 6 years. We've been together for almost 10. On paper, everything looked solid, stable jobs, decent apartment, no kids yet, but we were planning. You know, that vague future people talk about when they don't want to admit things already feel off. The truth? Things had been weird for a while. She's always had a sharp personality, sarcastic, blunt, sometimes straight up harsh. I used to find it funny. Lately, it just felt mean. Like every conversation had this edge to it. If I asked a simple question, she'd snap back like I was interrogating her. If I pointed out something small, she'd flip it and somehow I'd end up apologizing. And the lying. I didn't want to call it that at first. It started small. Weird inconsistencies. She'd say she was at work late, but then mention a coworker being off that day. Or she'd tell me she went out with one friend, but later slip up and name someone else. When I'd question it, she'd get defensive immediately, like aggressively defensive. Why are you checking up on me? Do you not trust me? You're being paranoid. And yeah, maybe I was starting to feel paranoid. But something in my gut kept telling me this wasn't nothing. At first, I brushed it off. Marriage has rough patches, right? People get distant, stressed, irritable. I kept telling myself I was overthinking. Still, there were moments that didn't sit right. Like when she started taking her phone everywhere. Bathroom, shower, yeah, she'd literally take it into the bathroom while showering, even quick trips to take out the trash. Or how she suddenly cared a lot more about how she looked, but not around me. Around me, it was the same old sweatpants and indifference. But going out with friends? Full effort. I remember one night specifically. She got a text, glanced at it, and her entire expression changed. Like, softened. Almost smiling. I asked, "Who's that?" She didn't even look at me. Just said, "No one." No one. That word stuck with me way more than it should have. Because deep down, I think I already knew. No one was definitely someone. After that no one moment, something in my brain just clicked into a different mode. I started paying attention. Not obsessively at first, just noticing. Her schedule stopped making sense. She used to text me during the day. Random stuff, memes, complaints about work, what do you want for dinner, type things. That just stopped. Hours would go by with nothing. If I texted her, I'd either get a super short reply or nothing at all until much later with some excuse like, "Sorry, busy day." Except her social media told a different story. She'd be online. Active. Posting stories. Liking things. Just not responding to me. That messed with my head more than I want to admit. Then came the first real red flag. One evening she told me she had to stay late at work. Big project, deadline, all that. She sounded annoyed when she said it, like I should feel bad for even asking. I told her okay, no problem. Around 9 p.m., I called her just to check in. She declined the call. A minute later I got a text, "Can't talk. In a meeting." At 9 p.m. I didn't say anything, but that didn't sit right. At all. About half an hour later, I checked her location. We both shared it, something we set up years ago for convenience, not control. She wasn't at work. She was across town. At some random location I didn't recognize. My stomach just dropped. Like instantly. That heavy, sinking feeling you can't shake. I stared at the map for a good minute, hoping it was a glitch or something stupid like that. It wasn't. I texted her, "Thought you were at work?" She didn't respond. 10 minutes later, the location turned off. Just gone. When she finally came home later that night, she acted completely normal. Maybe a bit tired, but nothing unusual. I asked how work was. I sighed dramatically and said, "Exhausting. I told you, we had a late meeting." I remember just looking at her, trying to process how easily that lie came out. No hesitation. No cracks. Just smooth. And that's when it hit me, this wasn't just small inconsistencies anymore. She was straight up lying to my face. And the worst part? She acted like I was the problem every time I even hinted at something being off. That night, I barely slept. Not because I had proof of anything concrete yet. But because deep down, I knew I was getting closer to something I wasn't ready to see. After that night, I wish I could say I confronted her immediately like some confident, self-respecting adult. I didn't. I went the other way. Quiet. Observing. Trying to prove to myself that I wasn't crazy before I blew everything up. The next few days were tense as hell, at least for me. She acted normal, actually, more than normal. A little too nice at times. Like randomly asking if I wanted coffee, or touching my arm when she walked by. It felt rehearsed. Like she was playing a version of a good wife. Meanwhile, I was spiraling internally. I started noticing patterns. She'd get texts late at night and angle her phone away from me. If I walked into the room, she'd either lock it instantly or flip it face down like it was some reflex. Once, I caught a glimpse of a notification, just a name, no message. I didn't recognize it. I asked casually, "Who's that?" She didn't even blink. "Work. At midnight." Sure. Then came something that really messed with my head. She left her phone on the kitchen counter one morning while she rushed to get ready. That never happened anymore. It was like spotting a unicorn. For a solid 30 seconds, I just stood there staring at it. I knew if I picked it up, there was no going back. But at the same time, what trust was even left? So yeah. I picked it up. My hands were actually shaking. It was locked. But she hadn't changed her passcode in years. I tried it. It worked. A notification popped up. Last night was worth it. I froze. I opened the chat. It wasn't just flirting. It was ongoing. Comfortable. Familiar. Like a second life. Photos. Messages. Voice notes. And a line from her. "Doesn't matter, he thinks I'm working late anyway." He. Not my husband. Just, he. I stood there in shock until I heard her coming back. I locked it, put it back, and pretended nothing happened. She opened the same chat in front of me minutes later like I didn't exist. That was the moment I realized I was the only one not aware of the second life I was in. I spent the rest of that day in a fog. At 9 p.m. she texted, "Gonna be late tonight. Don't wait up." I replied, "Okay." Then I checked the location. Across town again. I drove there. It was an apartment building. I waited. Then I saw her. With him. Laughing. Kissing. Like I wasn't even real. I stepped out. She saw me immediately. "What are you doing here?" I said, "I think the better question is, what are you doing here?" She crossed her arms. "Why are you following me?" I laughed. "I just watched you walk out of that building with him." She said, "It's not what you think." Of course. "It's my coworker," she said. "We were just talking." I asked him if he knew she was married. He said yes. That she told him we were having problems. She added, "Don't drag him into this." Then the argument started. "I didn't plan it," she said. "It just happened." That sentence hit me in a way I didn't expect. Because it wasn't even regret. Just convenience. "How long?" I asked. "I don't know," she said. That was the moment I realized she wasn't fighting for me. She was managing consequences. I said, "All right." She asked, "All right what?" "I'm done trying to figure it out for both of us." I left. The drive home was quiet. Not peaceful. Just empty. At home, I packed. She came in. You're actually doing this, she said. Yes. She said, you're overreacting. I said, no. I'm responding. I told her I was leaving. She said, this is stupid. I said, I don't hate you. But I can't stay where I don't trust a word you say. And I left. The first night was just silence and a bed that didn't feel like mine. She texted, we need to talk properly. I replied, lawyers. She said, don't be like that. I blocked her. A friend said, took you long enough. That surprised me more than anything. Then she showed up at my place. I ended things with him, she said. I said, okay. She said, I miss you. I said, I get that. But it doesn't change anything. She said, we could fix this. I said, you don't understand what fixing this requires. She left. The divorce moved slowly. She kept trying to pull me into emotional conversations. Can we talk like adults? We never had been. She came to my place again. I thought you wouldn't actually leave. I said, I already did. Eventually she said, I didn't want it to end like this. Neither did I. But it did. And that was the point. After she left, the days became procedural. Emails. Papers. Silence. We need to handle this properly. Lawyers. Don't be like that. No response. She tried calling. I blocked her. Eventually she came again. I ended things with him, she said. I said, okay. She said, I miss you. I said, I get that. But it doesn't change anything. She said, we could fix this. I said, you don't understand what fixing this requires. She left again. And that was it. Not dramatic. Not cinematic. Just done. There wasn't closure. Just reality catching up. And the realization that I stopped losing something the moment I stopped pretending it was still intact.